Hi everyone, I'm Devyani Sapre. I'm a registered migration agent and the principal agent at Aspect Migration. Today I'm going to talk about the new migration updates that are going to commence on 16th of November 2019, pretty much a little over a month from now. So let's talk. So here are the key updates. First thing that's going to change is there's going to be a revised point system which is applicable to all GSM visas, including the 189, the 190, and the newly declared visa, the 491, which will be replacing the 489 visa. Also, the ranking criteria in the invitations round would be affected because of this revised point system. So we'll talk about that. There is an introduction of 3 new visas. We'll talk about what those new visas are, what the key criteria is, and the fees for them. Let's start with the revised points. So this is in summary as to what's changing in the point system. So there are 3 main changes which I've marked as 1, 2, and 3. So 1 is primarily related to how you can claim or possibly be eligible to claim points for your partner, be it a spouse or a de facto partner. So if someone has a spouse or a de facto partner who is skilled, as in they have a positive skills assessment for an occupation and have a competent English, which means competent English is at least 6 overall, they can claim starting from 16th November, they can claim 10 points. Equally, if someone does not have a spouse or a de facto partner, it means they are single, they too can claim 10 points. At the same level, there can be people who have a spouse or a de facto partner, but their partner is an Australian citizen or a permanent resident. Even they can claim 10 points. Now, why is this third criteria added is possibly to give people a pathway to not go for an option of a partner visa, which might be a little more a costlier option. Comparatively, it costs about $8,000 for a visa fee, but a general skill migration costs a little less. And lastly, but not the least, if you have a partner who is not skilled in any occupation and you don't have a positive skills assessment, but does have a competent English, they can claim 5 points for that. So what's happening here is that the department is promoting people who are actually good at English or who can use English, and that's what they're looking for in an applicant. Second criteria in the point system is that previously when you used to be nominated by a state or territory or was sponsored by a family member, you used to get just 10 points. That's going to change and it's going to be 15 points from 16th November onwards. When it comes to sponsorship by a state and territory or the family member, it has to be in a designated regional area. The family member in particular needs to be residing in that regional area. So obviously if you're invited and you fall under if you are sponsored by a family member, you would need to provide those evidences. Third, which has already been there, that you used to, like in the existing point system, someone can claim 5 points if they have like specialist qualifications, like if they have done a master's or a PhD, master's by research I mean, or a PhD in an engineering or a science or a STEM related qualification. They used to get 5 points, but 16th November onwards they would be able to claim 10 points. So that's kind of the aim, to attract highly skilled people in the STEM industries. So how is the new revised point system going to affect the ranking of the EOIs, and what would be the order of the invitations? So it is generally around the partner visa criteria that have changed in the new point system that the ranking would be affected primarily. So someone who has a skilled partner with a competent English, or someone who does not have a skilled partner, or as in who's a single, or someone who has a partner who's an Australian citizen or a permanent resident, would be given the first priority. So they would be at the same level. The second priority would be given to those applicants who have a spouse or a partner with competent English. And lastly will come the applicants who have a partner who are neither skilled and don't even have competent English. This which means that if there are 3 or 4 applicants who score the same level of points, this is how the ranking of those EOIs would happen, and the invitations would be issued in that order. So let's talk about the new visas, which are all the regional visas. So the first one is the subclass 491. It's a provisional visa and it replaces the current subclass 489 skilled regional provisional visa. It comes into effect on 16th November 2019. It continues to be a point tested visa like the previous 489. The subclass 494 is the another provisional visa which replaces the current subclass 187 RSNS visa, and this too comes into effect on 16th of November 2019. The subclass 191 permanent visa, it replaces the current subclass 887, the skilled regional permanent visa, and it comes into effect on November 2022. I'll talk about it later, why it's coming into effect a little later than the other 2 visas. So let's talk about the key updates on the subclass 49 visa. As I said, it's a point tested visa, so one needs to submit an expression of interest by claiming points for their age, English, skills, education, etc., and the partner skills, of course. And they need to be invited before they can make an application. They obviously need to either be nominated by the state or the territory government or be sponsored by an eligible family relative who is living in the designated regional area. The designated regional areas will not include Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, Brisbane, and Gold Coast. The visa will allow the applicant and their families to live, work, and study in the designated regional area for 5 years. At the end of 3 years, the applicant would be eligible to make an application for a permanent residence visa, subclass 191. So this is the fees structure. So there's a first installment which would be payable by the main applicant and any additional applicant depending on their age. There is a second installment, and that would only be payable if the applicant who is 18 years and above and does not have a functional English would have a second installment that they need to pay. And this is pretty similar to what is there in existing subclass 489. With the subclass 494, so it has similar requirements to the subclass 482 visa, which is the temporary employer sponsored visa, but now this one is specifically for the designated regional areas. Obviously for this employer sponsorship and nomination is required, and it has 2 streams. One is the employer sponsored stream and the other one is the labor agreement stream. The visa fees for this is, the first installment is similar to what you have seen in the subclass 491. With the second installment, the only difference is that if the primary applicant does not have functional English, they need to pay a higher second installment compared to a secondary applicant who does not have a functional English. And of course, the ages of these applicants have to be more than 18 years. The subclass 191, it's the permanent visa. It commences in November 2022, and because the temporary visas with the temporary subclass 491 and the 494, a person becomes eligible for a permanent visa only after 3 years. That is the reason the subclass 191 would come into effect 3 years from November of 2019. We don't know the exact date yet, but we should come to know it when the time comes for it to be active. But what we know is that the eligibility to apply for this subclass is that a person needs to hold or the 491 or the 494 for at least 3 years. They should have earned a minimum taxable income for 3 years, and this needs to be demonstrated using your tax assessment notice. They also need to have complied with the provisional visa requirements, that they need to live, work, and study in the designated regional area. And this requirement and this condition is applicable not just to the primary applicant but also dependent children, as dependent children are required to study in those designated regional areas only. The visa fees is relatively cheaper compared to the provisional one. So there is only a first installment payable, there is no second installment. So if you do have more questions, which you would certainly have, like when can we submit an EOI for a 491 visa? How do I know if my partner has relevant skills to claim points or whether I can claim points? What if my partner has an occupation which requires registration, and would I be able to claim points for that? If you receive an invitation, should my spouse or partner be inside Australia, or can they be included in the visa application if they are outside Australia? What happens to my current 489 visa? If you are currently a holder of a 489 visa, do you apply for an 887, or what happens? Do you become eligible for a 191 in November 2022? Do I need to be employed in the nominated occupation for 3 years, or you just need to be employed in the designated regional area to be able to apply for the permanent visa subclass 191? What is the minimum taxable income for the permanent visa subclass 191 that needs to be demonstrated? Can you demonstrate it through more than one jobs? Can my partner who was a secondary applicant in a provisional visa be the primary applicant for the permanent stage? So if you do have questions like these, feel free to contact us. These are our details. We are located in Hopppers Crossing and available Monday to Saturday from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. I would recommend to please make a booking and for consultation. We do offer free initial consultations up to 45 minutes. If there is a specific case, we can definitely help you. We also have listed our Facebook page. This video would be posted on our YouTube and the Facebook page, so please go ahead and like and follow our page to see more updates. We would be posting any further updates that we receive from the department on these visas, and also very soon do a video on parent visas, what options are available for parents, permanent migration, partner visas, and student visas. I hope you find this small video informative, and good luck. Thank you.